Good afternoon, guys. How are we doing today? Is everyone with me? Okay, perfect. Today we are going to speak about sorry, let me just fix this quickly. Okay, can everyone hear me? Let me just check the other one. Can you guys hear me over there? Okay. Today we're going to speak about your the way you're going to go about doing your fourth assignment, your final assignment. Remember, the interview that you had to do was just the prequel to this actual assignment. This is the big one, and this is a real opportunity for you to get and attain some really good marks. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to screen share with you the instructions. I'm going to walk you through them. Can everyone see that? Can you see the pop-up on the screen? Okay. I'm going to walk you through that. And if you have any questions, please just let me know and we can talk about it. So you have the best, you equipped as best as you can. You equipped as best as you can to be able to go ahead with your final assignment. Okay, so it says find a topic for communication that will be enriching to your community and which will help the students and something that the students feel passionate about. Prepare a message for your local church or school. If students are not available to deliver this message to the proposed audience, then the students may record the message in private. Okay, so you're going to find a topic of communication that you're going to speak about. You're going to decide whether you're going to give it to your local school or a church or wherever, and you can actually give this talk. So are you writing that down? Let me know when I can move on. Can I move on? Okay, thank you. Oh, last is instruction, you need to document the process. Which means simply write down what it is that you are, write down what it is that you are, the process of going through it. Okay, so your assignment will consist of two parts. Part A will be a recording or illustration of the message that you posted either on Funda or Google Documents, and provide a link for it, please. So you're going to record the actual speech that you're doing, and then part B will be the written part of it. This is where you would write down documenting the process of how you've gone about it, what you've done, which topic you chose, why you chose that specific topic, how you went about planning your speech concerning this topic. Does that make sense? If there's any questions, please just let me know. I think I'll unmute you so that you can. Okay, are there any questions?
I'll just say, please explain.
What would you like me to explain again?
Please, could you explain the assignment instructions in part A and the part B, please?
Okay, this part A is the recording of your actual speech.
So it's recording of the speech and then written assignment, what we do every single time.
Okay.
What we
I can't hear you.
Thank you, we understand. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So you don't need me to explain again.
No thanks.
Okay. Please just let me know if you need anything else.
We will do, thank you.
Okay. So moving on. This is very important. I need you to focus on this. I need you to understand this. Please focus on this because this is what you are marked on. This is where your marks come from. Firstly, 10%, 10 marks out of 30, which means 30% of your message, 30% of your assignment, sorry, will be comprised of the content of your message. Okay? The content of your message, 30%. Another 30% will be the reflection on the communication process. So it is you reflecting on what you have done, reflecting on how communication went good, how it went bad, things that you could have improved on, things that you could have done better, reflecting on that. And then another 10% would be the display of your display of your cross-cultural understanding. So you'll be explaining to us what you have learned in the course about cross-cultural communication and how that communication relates to the actual assignment that you have done. Does that make sense? So please pay careful attention. The assignment has a certain amount of words that you need to stick to in its criteria. So therefore, you would allocate a third of those words to each section. You can't go 40% content, 40% reflection, and 20% display of cross-cultural understanding. You will definitely lose marks where that's concerned. So the reason why we give you this assignment criteria is so that you can know how much to break it up into. So you'll allocate 1/3 of your assignment to each of the following aspects. That's simple, right? Okay, let's move on. Uploading your assignment. Just let me know when you're done with that. This is really simple. I don't need to explain this. Yeah, you've done this before. We're talking about assignment 4. Can we move on? Okay, so rhetoric and persuasion. These are just some tools that are going to help you in developing your actual speech. So rhetoric and persuasion, your rhetoric is the way you conduct your language, the language that you use, the type of language that you use, the way you speak about what it is that you're giving a speech on, and that will influence how persuasive your actual speech is. So I want you to just think about who is the most persuasive person that you know. And you don't have to answer it out loud, but just think about it. Who's the most persuasive person that you know? What is it that makes this person so persuasive? Do you trust them and why? Do you like them and why? Do their arguments make sense? What emotions are most likely, what emotions are they most likely to use when they convince you? So just think about that, because that all adds into the reason why that person is probably most persuasive in your life is because of the rhetoric and the language that they use and the way that they go about communicating themselves to you. Does that make sense? So these are just some things to help you to understand how to be persuasive, how to develop your language, how to develop your speech in a way to be as persuasive as possible. So rhetoric appeals to the ethos, as the messages that are credible are more likely to convince. So if someone comes to you with proper statistics from a well-based organization and it makes sense and it's not lies and whatever, information that's credible is more likely to convince people. Messages that draws on people's emotions is also more likely to convince them, as well as messages that make sense. If someone just babbles onto you and you don't understand what they're saying, it's very unlikely that they are going to convince you of what they're saying. If you look at Adolf Hitler, he was credible because he had the backing of the entire military army with him. He appealed to the emotions of the Germans, and to the Germans what he said was making sense, and that's why he was a very persuasive speaker. So this is in order to help you where your speech is concerned. You need to be persuasive, so you need to make sure that your message is credible. You need to make sure that some aspect of it draws on emotion, and you need to make sure that some aspect of it is also, it makes sense. This is gonna cause that your message convinces people and helps them, and obviously ends up in your speech being something positive, and it's a positive communication at the end of the day. Does that make sense? Are there any questions so far? I see you guys are yawning. I know it's boring, but we need to go through this so that you guys fully get and understand what the assignment is required of. I also don't like talking about assignments. I want to talk about life issues and topics and teaching and whatever. But unfortunately, for you guys to get good marks, we need to exhaust every topic so that you'll be able to understand fully what the assignment expects of you. Is that okay? So just stick with me, just bear with me. I really do apologize if it is boring. Can we move on? Okay, so finding a topic. Think about this. These are the topics. These are the topics that you guys were given for your, I think it was your second assignment or your third assignment, the interview one. And these are the ones that you are going to elaborate on for your actual speech. So now you just need to narrow down on that topic. You need to narrow down on that specific thing. So yeah, we can move on from that. Okay, looking at your own persuasiveness now. You need to relate this to what your topic is. You need to relate this to what your topic will actually be. So for the topic that you have chosen, let's say it's the voting or the gender thing, how credible is what you have? How credible is the actual topic that you've come up with? What emotions can you draw on? Let's say you chose the gender side of things. What emotions can you draw on? Would be if there's a lot of females, you can talk about. Explain what you mean as using the previous assignment as a backup. Yes, absolutely. That was the point of the previous assignment. So that's perfect. That's a good question, and you are actually supposed to use what you've done in your previous assignment. So drawing on your topic, you need to decide how much credibility this actual topic has. What emotions can you draw on where this topic is concerned? You don't want to emotionally manipulate people, but you do want to appeal to their emotions, if that makes sense. And then finally, um, you need to make sure that your speech, how you can put your speech together in a way that it makes logical sense, that people understand that it's not just words that you're being said, but they actually understand what you're saying, that your speech makes logical sense. I see your question. The mark should be up by today, either today or Thursday. Can we move on? Can we move on? Okay, so narrowing your topic down. You obviously need to narrow your topic from the broader perspective of the question. You obviously need to narrow your topic down from the broad perspective of the questions that you asked in the previous assignment to more narrow now. So these are some questions that you can ask yourself that can help you narrow your topic down. So what aspect of the topic are you most interested in? So let's say you chose gender, and maybe your aspect could be gender relations inside religion or gender relations in church. That's just an example. So you're finding out what aspect of the topic you're most interested in. What are the specific needs of your audience? That's very important into narrowing your topic down. If your audience is mainly men, you can't speak about feminism and gender equality and things like that, because what you are speaking to won't appeal to your target audience. So make sure you know the specific needs of your target audience. That's why you're going to go into the church or into the school or whatever it is beforehand to attain this information. When is the best time for you to communicate to your audience? That also you'll find out when you go beforehand. And then, in what part of this topic do you have the most credibility? What emotions in your audience do you best understand? And what logical steps do you already see? So going back to this, these three things: ethos, pathos, and logos. Credibility, emotion, and logical sense. That's going to be very important in your assignment. So you need to make sure that in every aspect that you are exploring, that you make sure you're looking at the credibility of it, what emotion you can look at, and in what way can you put this together in a logical sense. Does that make sense? Okay, no questions so far. Can we move on? Oh, that's actually it. Yeah, that's it for now. If there are no questions, then we can actually end today's tutorial. Are there any questions? The last slide. Okay, no problem. There you go. No, I don't think this is our last start. I think our last tutorial is next week, but you should be getting um, a notification from JP or Richard as to whether this is the last tutorial. Okay, so there's the last slide. Do you guys have any questions? Nothing. Okay, so I think we can actually end the tutorial there, seeing as though there's no questions and things like that. Do well in your assignment. Is there a question from Kane? You will find the assignment on Funda under cross-cultural communication, under the assignment tab, assignment 4. It would be there. It should be there. If it's not there, it will be uploaded soon with the due dates, with all the instructions that I've just given you now. Is that fine? Okay. Otherwise, thanks guys. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Do well on your assignment. Please stick to the instructions. Make sure that you reference and that you add the course readings in it as well, because that's very important. Otherwise, there's no reason why you shouldn't get a really good mark. Other than that, thank you for joining and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.